The first item I have is a consideration appointments to the Charleston Water Conservancy District Board. We have in the past just requested them to submit to us the names that they requested to have considered on this. And I have received the following names for consideration. Alan Brown and Devon Guyman.
Is there 2 spots or just one?
There's 2 spots.
Have they been the ones serving in those spots?
They have been, so they would be reappointed.
Okay, that's your recommendation?
It is.
There's none others. Any further question or comment for Mr. Davis on this? If not, Mr. Chairman.
I'll make the motion. We go ahead and approve Alan Brown and Devon Guyman to the Charleston Water Conservancy District Board.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Farrell and a second by Mr. Crittenden to take the manager recommendation of the 2 names, Alan Brown and Devon Guyman. Any discussion on the motion? I'll proceed to vote. Mr. Peterson.
I will abstain on this one.
Okay.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, motion carries. No, 1 abstention. Okay. Enterprise, Ryan, you good?
No, do it north
Sure.
and south.
Do you need a pointer? Yeah. Thanks. We'll need one.
Do it north and south.
I know.
If I get to that point, I'll let you know.
Okay.
My name is Ryan Starks. I'm the Director of Economic Development for Wasatch County. Happy to be here with you today. Each year, we like to come and present to the council, and I know that jazz game is going to start sooner than later, so I'll keep my remarks brief. First thing I wanted to do is just pass out a copy of our 2016 annual report, let you know that we're working hard to ensure that we have a strong and dynamic economy. 2016 ended on a positive note with most of our revenue indicators up, from sales tax to transit room tax to unemployment rates being low, new jobs being created in the county. Some of that's reflected here in the annual report. So if you'd like to pass that down. But I'm really here today to discuss what's called the Utah Enterprise Zone program. This is sponsored by the Utah State Tax Commission and administered through the Utah Governor's Office of Economic Development. And it's a program that the legislature created in order to help support rural counties in their effort to attract businesses and to develop their economies. And so a lot of times people say, well, why should we bring a business to Wasatch County? What do you have that maybe the Wasatch Front doesn't have? And I go down the long list of all good things that we have, but one of them is the Enterprise Zone. And it's a designated area within a jurisdiction. So in this case, within Wasatch County, but Daniels, Charleston, Midway, and Heber City also have enterprise zones. If you're a qualifying business, basically all businesses qualify as long as they're not retail or construction. Then you can opt into it if you meet certain requirements. Some of those requirements are job creation. So if a company hires new employees that are full-time, they can receive up to $750 per employee as long as that employee remains a full-time employee for a 6-month or longer period. Then if that same job pays 125% of the county average wage, then that same employer can receive an additional $500 tax credit from the state. Other uses of it include investing into equipment. So if we have a business that expands, and one that I think is a good example is Mrs. Call's Candy. Now this is in Heber City. But if you go to their building, you'll see that they're under construction right now, expanding by 17,000 square feet. In the process of doing so, they're going to invest in the equipment and additional things to help their business grow.
How many additional employees will that?
A handful, they said. And so if that's the case, they can receive 10% of the first $250,000 in investment and 5% of the next $1 million. And so this is just a chance for businesses to, take that next step in expanding. What we're seeing is not a lot of manufacturing companies relocating to the area, although there are some, but we see a lot of our existing companies taking that next step. Probst Electric, Mrs. Call's Candies, and others. So there's zero commitment really from the council other than you just pass the resolution stating your support. And assuming we get to that point, then I just fill out an application. I send that to the governor's office. They basically stamp it and put us on record as being a designated enterprise zone county, which is good for a 5-year period. You see here, 2012 was the last time it was renewed. Doug helped me at that time identify some of the commercial zones within the county that could benefit from this. And you see that just because you're a business within one of these areas doesn't mean you necessarily qualify. You have to meet a certain threshold. I work with the business in that case to make sure that they know what they need to do. We work with the governor's office and then get them taken care of. So from what direction to what direction? I don't even know. So from north to south, you see up some by Jordanelle.
Right.
Yeah.
Try it.
What's that?
Don't let your eye out.
Okay, there we go.
Are you testing our mental capabilities by having a sideways?
Yeah.
I'm testing my mental capacity. I'm not doing so well. Yeah. Is that better?
Thank you.
In this case, it actually is that way.
So I'm not alone then in being confused.
Yeah.
So we see this is up by Stock Lumber Supply. And we have Jordanelle area. And you come down into the North Village. And there are a few pockets. Speaking with Doug just before the presentation, notice that this area right here has been annexed into Heber City. And so we can amend that to, take it off of the enterprise zone area for Wasatch County. We have a couple of other pending annexations, and as that happens, we can update the map. I can just bring it back to you. So that's kind of the program in a nutshell. It's one of the things that the state does to help drive economic development. Any questions?
We'll bring it back to us so we can make a motion to approve it.
We need a resolution.
I actually prepared the resolution for you.
It is agended as an action to renew if we wanted to, right?
So we need to go ahead.
Yeah, I don't see any issue. We'll consider, unless there's any other questions for Ryan, we'll consider a resolution to authorize application for the renewal of the state-sponsored enterprise zone. 2017 now this is a resolution, so it's not ordinance. If it were an ordinance, it would be 05, but
Now, I was late in getting Mike this. I just sent it a few hours ago, so that one's on me.
Resolution 1 would be that 1701, so.
yeah, we can do,
Or was it 2?
that was an ordinance too, wasn't it?
Well, that's
One
a resolution. One divided into of course, the other resolution.
Yeah.
We can pass it as with a title and then assign it a number, can't we? Or do we need a number first? How long would it take to find out what number it needs to be? Let's just hold off.
We could go 1.1.
Let's just wait just a second and
Make it easy.
we'll get a number so we don't have to. Thank you, Michelle.
While she's working on that, we'll talk about Roger Brooks for a minute.
Okay.
What do you think about the Utah's backyard playground to changing it to 25? We asked you to expand your horizons. What were the comments on that?
So Roger Brooks came a week ago. He's a national branding expert. Spoke for 3 hours, and hardly anybody stood up and walked out, which was pretty impressive. Gave us a whole range of ideas of things that we could do. I noticed Mike was chuckling, and I think I was chuckling as well. Just a lot of the things that are head scratching, like why does, this city do this or that city do that? So just a list of recommendations. At the end of the presentation, he talked about a potential tagline for our brand, and he said, the sun rises here first, this should be a place where, how did you put it, Mike? Expand your horizon.
If we're not the backyard, we should be considered the front yard because the sun comes up first here. So he came up with expand your horizon.
Yeah. And so I think 99% of what he had to say was golden. I don't know that a lot of people love that particular tagline just because they felt like you don't just suddenly change 2.5 million people's minds on the Wasatch Front. They're the Wasatch Front. We just happen to live on the better side. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was really good the way he put it together. I'm not so sure if I'm sold on the expand your horizon, but that made a lot of sense because the sun comes and there's the horizon, you see it first. Expand it, we have so much potential and opportunity here. And when he came up with that top 10 list, and actually it was more like a top 20 list, it was the best in Hebert Valley. I thought that was pretty impressive. We do have a lot of cool things going on.
Yeah.
Didn't he spend, I don't know how much time?
Yeah, spent about a week just secret shopping the community. He came into our office. Dallin, who works in our office, came down to help him. Our front office receptionist was out of the office, so he heard the door open. It was actually Roger Brooks' wife. And he says, well, how can I help you? And they start talking. And it was a great conversation. And luckily, Dallin's such a polite man. And after a couple of minutes of visiting with her, didn't know who she was, he sees Roger outside taking pictures. And he says, excuse me, ma'am, Ryan, Roger Brooks is here. So we ran down, and little did he know that was actually the wife, and we were being secret shopped. But kind of funny. So.
Ryan, I think one of the most significant things that he talked about that I took out of that meeting was he said over and over again how these successful communities that are like the Heber Valley have a gathering place that is kind of, and many of them have similar kinds of elements of that gathering place. And he talked extensively about us having one of those that we don't currently have. And I think that was perhaps its biggest challenge to the county is to figure that out someday.
That's a good point. A place people want to flock to, a place, a plaza, some gathering place where they can listen to music. Ideally, that gathering place has supporting retail shops around it. I think it's a challenge for us. So what our staff's going to do is compile kind of a list of takeaways from the presentation, and then we'll come back to the councils and find ways to try to tackle them one by one. One of the recommendations was the railroad needed better signage. Mark said that he's already gone down and implemented some of the signs and some of the little poster boards. So I think a lot of small things.
This is a gathering place here. We just need to add music and food, right?
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
I think that too, that there were some good comments made by some of our representatives at the Lincoln Day breakfast last Saturday morning, talking about what we have and some of the benefits and the opportunities going forward here in the county.
The protesters?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Well, I didn't. They were probably positive too. On that side.
Okay, so it is resolution 2017-02.
Okay.
So,
I was going to like just prepare a motion there.
What, do we already have one? Because we didn't have a number.
so it's right here. We've got it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make the motion that we pass resolution 17-02 to renew the enterprise fund for the...
Let's clarify enterprise zone.
Enterprise
No
zone.
fund.
Yeah, pardon me. That's right. Enterprise zone in the county with updating us, as Ryan has indicated, for the next 5 years.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Any more discussion on the motion? No, proceed vote, Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Starks.
Is there a follow-up with Roger Brooks at all? Did he give you all the statistics, or he probably gave you all kinds of...
Yeah, give us some slides and some additional information. I'd be happy to share that with you. His presentation, if you missed it, is located on our YouTube page, and I can send the council an email to that.
Yeah, I'd like